Best greeting to our subscribers. Today I would like to describe a little how to get permission to live in Russia if one needed. I have several times describing how to get permission to work, and many people think that it is very alike, that how to get permission to work and permission to live in Russia. But actually it is absolutely a mistake, and it is not alike. The permission to live, it is very serious and difficult legal procedure instead of work visa and permission to work, that providing in very fast way by the work givers. And how can I put it? There are a lot of ways to get permission to live, and very seldom people clearly realize it, because official position is you must have permanent permission to live for 3 years. After that you can change it to constant permission to live. Then you must prolong it every 5 years, for example. After that you would, if you like, of course, you can take the Russian exams and even get Russian citizenship if you have. But it is very old, the law of citizenship of the beginning of the century. And actually there are a lot of ways to get permission to live. One way for foreigner specialists, for example, there are very interesting way to get permission to live if you almost have permission to work as a specialist, and if you have pay taxes for some time, for example for 1, 2 or 3 years, you can get permission to live together with this work visa and with work permission. It is some kind of addition, legal addition. Another way, it is to go in long way that doesn't depend on your work, doesn't depend on your real estate, and doesn't depend on even your taxes. So you needn't to be a good taxpayer with a fine reputation, and even in this way you can get permission to live in Russia, and it is useful to know. In this way, in this case, you can get official registration and get quota, for example, or get married to get this timing permission to live. And I think that is for foreigners the best way is to find some well-known people who understand this process, and they can describe you in details how to get this permission to live. Because when you have permission to live, it is very useful status for you. You don't need to get visas, for example, and you have practically all rights that citizenship give to one people. The most important things regarding the matter of getting this permission to live is official registration while you're living, your legal stay for a long time that gives, for example, business visa or working visa. And of course it is also a serious problem is to get where to live. So there is some kind of a little contradiction, because in Russian Federation the registration doesn't mean the living in your personal real estate. So you have real estate or you don't have real estate, but if you have the long registration, you can get this permission to live. And with this status, permission to live, it doesn't matter where you live or don't live. So something like that. And there are a lot of other legal problems. Some police inquiry, for example, it is depending on the pack of documents you need to collect to get this permission to live. And so I think the best way is to find information, consult your barristers, your lawyers, if you decide to go through this procedure. If it is hard in your region to get quota, you can go in another way and get married in Russia, for example. For the foreigners that get married with Russian citizen, they don't need to get this quota and have permission to live out of quota way, and so on.